here we are in Lightroom, and I have all of the images that you've submitted this semester. And the first images are from Module 1, and I think there's some of those that you want taken out as far as your full portfolio goes. So just let me know what you want included and excluded. I think this image can come out, we know that, by looking at how all the other images are working together. But I think you were playing with the idea of keeping these in, not positive if you wanted to remove them or not. So if we want to hold off on removing them, that's totally fine. Just let me know what you want me to do, because this is going to be like your working portfolio as we move forward. This is how I'm going to be kind of judging your images, if they work with this series or if they don't. And as I said, for you and anyone else that's in 275 right now, you can also include those images if you want those to be worked into the mix of this critique specific for your portfolio. Okay. Now, if we're just looking at, let's say, these images, so image 4 here, but it's actually image 5 in the lineup, and then all of this line and then this line of images. You're showing us individuals, right now it's all women, I know that might shift and that's fine, that are living on the island with you and are embracing their culture. And that might be through dress, that might be through tattoo. You've painted on your face, it looks like here. So in any way that they want to represent their culture. Now, given that, when I look at these images, I'm looking at like the greenery that's around them. This, I think you said you've made all of these too. This wrap that you have on you. Like these shells, I think they are, that she has. And they're all really ornate and beautiful. And I just want to like be honest with you that I don't live on an island. I don't know your culture. So if I'm saying something like I will this week, like these don't seem like they line up is embedded in the culture as these images do, I might be totally off base in saying that. And you can call me out on that. Like, I know this isn't my culture. I know this isn't something I have the authority to not criticize, to like try to put into this box that I have created as to what this culture looks like. I have no right to do that. So you can always like correct me and tell me where you stand with these things. And maybe this is really more culturally relevant than I think it is. But the images here that are handmade, that you have articles of clothing that you've made, seem so personal and so authentic to me. These two images feel less that way, in a sense, because she has this wrap on her that feels like it was bought at a store. It doesn't seem like it as personal. But then she has something in her hair, looks like just a like hibiscus flower or something. And I think that adds that natural element that we had in the other images. Also, when I look at your work, we can see that you're using the gels and all. Not this. Well, I guess this has a yellow gel in it. In most of the images, you're using some colored gel of some sort. Now, I feel like colored gels can be really gimmicky. Like a super wide angle lens can be super gimmicky, right? But in the right hands, it can work really well and it can create this beautiful cohesion in your images. So I would continue to use them. I think they're really beautiful and they're adding this like magical element to all of your images. But just be aware of how you're using them and if they're overtaking the image, and that if we don't want it to be more about the gels than it is about the individual. And also they can create some, I don't know, strangeness in an image. So here when I look at this image, you have the blue and then you have the like magenta on this side. But then when we look at her fingers, they look like they've been like dipped in ink, right? So this feels really awkward as far as the way the coloring goes on her. So just you're gonna have to be really careful with them. In a lot of these, they're more subtle in the use of gels. And I think you're a little bit more heavy-handed this module. Not so much in that one, but in this one. So playing around with that, maybe backing off a little bit on the color. You know, you can always enhance that in post-processing if you need to. Also, you had said that you felt like you were a little bit rusty, and I feel like so many students come back from summer and feel like that. Um, so I get that for sure. This image doesn't look totally sharp. It looks like the focus is maybe on her back shoulder, like here and here, instead of on her face. This image looks sharper than that other image. It still looks like the focus might be slightly behind her eyes though. The catch light in this image on her eyes is working really well. Here it starts to get a little bit more lost, and this eye kind of falls into shadow, so we lose a little bit there. Yeah, you've been really aware of that in the past, so that's a little bit of a fall off. So a little bit of things for you to get back used to as you're in the studio, like we talked about in our Zoom meeting. You can do in studio images and you can do on location images, and I think those can meld just fine together. You want maybe a third or a quarter at least of your images to be of one of those so that they can blend together and they don't feel like anything's standing out. I think the idea of doing this all of women could be really beautiful and kind of have an empowering feel to it. But the idea of bringing in males, especially if you don't want to be around a lot of different people because of COVID and your situation, then that's fine too. If you want to include males, if you want to include your partner, your son, or anyone, I think that's fine too. So we can grow that out also. So let's keep in conversation about this and let me know if you have any questions.